Mikey, thank you for taking your time out to work with me on this project. I appreciate that. And just to acquaint the people with you, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, how you grew up, where you grew up?
I grew up in Long Island, New York. Both my parents were teachers. My mother, I got divorced and then remarried when I was maybe 7 years old. And I was raised by my stepfather, who was a teacher.
Okay.
Nice house, good friends. There was a farm behind our house where we played with our friends on the farm. Deer running around, everything like that. And I grew up there until I was 21. So after high school, went to college at SUNY Stony Brook, which is about 45 minutes away from home.
Did you like school? Like, were you like into education or what?
I was the youngest of three, and my sister was a straight A student, my brother was a straight A student, and I was a straight B student. So I was the bad student. So my parents thought, my brother went off to school, to an engineering school. My sister went pre-med, and they were like, well, do you want to go to community college, stay at home? And I was like, no, I'd rather go off to college and, experience, kind of understood where my sister and my brother, they got some life experiences from college. So I did want to get away, but 45 minutes was the furthest away. My parents kind of let me go. School wasn't hard per se for me. I was able to get by with, study here and there. And I did sports, soccer when I was younger, and then cross country and wrestling and track when I was older, middle school and high school.
What did you study in college?
So I went to school for business. I had a really fun freshman year, and I didn't declare my major. But my goal was to finish in 4 years.
Uh-huh.
So to finish in 4 years, I did multidisciplinary studies.
Okay.
So it's kind of a liberal arts, except it was business, sociology, and history. And I had a minor in business, but it was mostly focused on business.
So you went to college, and then when you came out, what did you do?
So when I came out of college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I decided I was going to go into the military. College was an experience for me. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that if I was just going to join the military, I'd be able to travel. I'd get to learn some life experiences, and maybe when I was a little more mature, I'd be able to figure out what I wanted to do.
Yeah. And so you joined the Marines, and where did you end up going?
So I joined the Marines and went through basic training, went to my MOS school in Pensacola, Florida. And after graduation from there, they say, do you want to go East Coast, West Coast, or overseas? And I said, I want to go overseas. I want to experience the world. I had never traveled outside the U.S., been to pretty much every state, but I hadn't traveled out. So I said, I want to go overseas. So I was able to get deployed to Japan for 2 years. And then when I was in Japan, I was able to go to Korea, Thailand, Wake Island. So I got to travel all over the place, meet lots of different cultures and people. And I met my wife when I was over there as well.
Right. So that's awesome. And so now, what is it you're doing?
So when I got out of the military, I did 4 years, and I decided that I wanted to get out. I had gotten married. We wanted to be together and be a family, and that military life is taxing sometimes. Mm-hmm. So when I got out, I went over to teach English in Japan. I did that for about 9 months and knew that wasn't for me. My parents being teachers, my sister's a teacher. I'm not a strict teacher per se, in the curriculum, and this is the book and this is the way to do things. So I had a friend working in Colorado for a company, Wayfield Group Contracting. The company at that time was a $12 million a year company revenue. And they were growing and they needed some help. And he goes, hey, I have a friend who's smarter than I am, which is pretty funny if you knew my friend. And so I flew out here and interviewed, and I got the job. I started out as an APM, assistant project manager, moved on to project manager. During that time as a project manager, I finished up my MBA using my GI Bill, going to night school. And then, when you talk about luck, in business, it's not really a lot of luck per se, but if you work hard, you do get lucky sometimes. And the CEO was going through a divorce and he needed some help. And I was able to provide that help with my MBA and being able to understand some of the business aspects of things. And I was able to move my way up as assistant controller, and then now CFO.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you mentioned that it was luck, but it seems like you were prepared though. You were ready when opportunity came your way though.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess in business you kind of make luck. If you put the time and the effort in, good things are going to happen.
Okay.
I'm not in the position I'm in because someone just said, "Here you go, have it." I put time, effort. I work for an electrical contracting company, and I don't have an electrical background, so there were a lot of things that I had to learn on the operations side of things, and then on the finance and accounting side of things.
Right.
So it was a lot of effort and work. Without the support of my wife, I mean, when I'm working 60, 70 hours a week, if she wasn't supporting me and supporting the family at home, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Right.
So
thinking about everything you've been doing, can you identify, like, what is your main purpose? Or what do you feel it is? Have you identified that?
So in my personal life, I've really never thought about it per se. What is my goal and my main purpose? I know I want to provide for my family and I want to provide them opportunities as they get older. I mean, my parents provided me with opportunities. I didn't want to go to college. I did want to go to the military right away. And they said, you need to do this. And then I realize now that was a good thing to do. So I guess my goal is just provide for my family and make sure, they live a happy, healthy life. In business, there's definitely a mission and values and everything around our business structure, and a lot of those do carry over to my life. In business, we have the PACT, which is people, advancing processes, community, and trusting relationships. And basically, what we do within the community, we build buildings. And so we know that if we're building a building, we're helping the community, but we also give back to the community through charity. We have trusting relationships, and you can trust your customers and your vendors, and things like that. You're going to get more work, you're going to get respect in the community. And then advancing processes really is just, we never want to be stuck in our ways of doing things. There's always a better way to do something, and we're open to listening to what that better way is and spending the time and the effort to do that, because we don't want to be the lagging business in the market.
Sure.
We want to be leading,
which is important.
Yeah. And then the people side of it is just, we work with people, and people is the business. And if we didn't have good electricians, we didn't have good project managers, and all work together, then what's the point? So,
is there a belief that you would say that you keep personally? A belief, a concept that helps you be effective or successful?
I would never expect someone to work harder than I would personally work. There's times where things get busy, and if capacity is an issue, when we expanded into Texas, I wasn't going to make someone stay there till 9 o'clock at night, or I wasn't going to make them work on the weekend if I wasn't willing to do it myself. So just that, if I'm going to work hard, I expect others to work hard, but I wouldn't expect someone to work harder than me.
Considering that, how would you describe yourself? Like, are you a learner? Are you a motivator?
I'm trying to think of a word to describe myself. I don't really think about myself when I do things. But I guess patient.
Okay.
I'm patient. So I know I don't know everything. I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
And so I'm patient. I expect other people to be patient, and work together to solve problems or accomplish the task at hand. So patience.
Okay. So is there a action that you do that aids you in being successful or effective?
Lead by example. I'm one of the first people at work. I'm one of the last people to leave. I don't expect everyone to work as many hours as I work or anything like that, but I feel like they can see that if I'm putting forth the effort and we're having a good time to accomplish, our goals and our tasks for the week or for the year, if they can see that I'm putting forth that effort, that they're also going to be on board to do the same. If I'm the guy that's going to show up 9 to 5 and expect them to be working differently, they're not going to want to be on the same team. So lead by example.
And how many people are there, like at where you are?
So we have 600 employees total in the office where we have support services, our estimating, pre-con, and our operations team. There's about 80 employees in the office, and everyone else is on remote job sites.
Right. When you think about what you've been learning, everything that you've been doing, say, from when you started off, could you say that you're thinking differently now than maybe how you were when you were just starting all this?
Yeah, there's a funny story. When I first started at the company I'm with now, somebody was asking me for something, and I said, well, we can't do that. And he's like, no, I'm telling you. And we had a bad interaction, and that got back to ownership, and they're like, what, Mike? No, not Mike. Like, there's no way that he would be that type of person, because I'm pretty mellow and calm, and I listen. But at the same time, when someone's going to step up, at that point in time, I was going to push back. And so I was probably a little harsh when I was younger. Now, if something comes up and, it's not something you can solve right away, it's, like I said, just be patient. Think of a better way to skin the cat and then get back to that person or to that problem later.
So is there maybe some advice that you would tell the younger you at that time? Like, with what you know now, is there some advice you would give to a younger you?
I think everything I've done, even if it was a mistake, was a learning experience for me. Through people that have mentored me and have invested time and money in my growth. Everything, even when you make a mistake or they would give me a task and I'm like, wow, I'm not ready for that. And I would make a mistake or I would stumble. I was able to learn and grow from those. And so now I'm able to see situations a little differently or help other people. So that way either they learn the next mistake instead of the same mistake, or they don't make that mistake.
So could it be that you would say, hey, make sure you learn from
the mistakes. Mistakes are going to happen. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you don't want to make big mistakes.
Right.
That's detrimental to the company. But if you make a mistake and it's a $2,000 mistake, you're like, oh, that's a lot of money. But you probably learned a lifelong lesson that is going to pay back tenfold.
When you were starting, so you went to go do the MBA. So did you start the MBA before you joined this company?
I did start the MBA when I was in the military. I had a mentor, Master Sergeant Fates. When I first went to my duty station in Japan, he said, hey, I want you to write a paper, and I want you to tell me what you want to do over the next 2 years. And one of my goals was, checking the box was, I want to start my master's. I want to utilize my GI Bill, and I know it's going to benefit me in some way, whether it's the education or the experience of it. So I started taking it when I was overseas, and I was about a third of the way done before I moved to Colorado.
Okay. So did you believe you were going to succeed in getting that thing done? Even when you joined your current company, did you believe that you'd be successful there?
So anywhere I've worked, I've always had a positive outlook and outcome. I believe I want to benefit everybody. I'm not selfish. I want to accomplish what's the main goal? What's the main purpose?
Right.
So I've always done well where I've been at. So when I joined Wayfield, I wanted to be part of the team. They kind of felt like the family that the military was, close to people and willing to spend time with everybody. I probably was at Wayfield for a year before I continued my MBA. And it was like, this is time for me to finish this thing. I need to get it done. And for 2 nights a week for 4 hours for the next year and a half, I was going to night school. I would leave work at 5:30, get to class at 6, and then get home at 11 o'clock at night. And I needed to get it done. It was right. that check in the box. It was that goal that I had set that I'm going to have my MBA.
So you made the decision, and then you were like, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, respect.
And yeah, it was hard work. I mean, you understand where you've been and your schooling, but when you set that goal, it's like, I'm going to keep going until it's done.
So do you feel like whatever you're going to choose to do as you move forward, you're going to be successful?
The position I'm in right now, I never saw that as my path per se. would I change it? No, I enjoy what I do. I enjoy the people I work with, but I'm always going to do the best job at what I'm doing. And I have a good outlook, so I find the good in whatever I'm doing. And so.
Cool. So regarding people, I want to talk to you about those interactions.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had people that have tried to dissuade you, or they weren't actively supporting the dream or the goal or the thing you were looking to do?
Well, with the military, my parents were teachers. They did not support that they dissuaded me. And they said, no, you need to go to college. So I did what they told me to do instead of what I wanted to do.
So wait a second. I don't think I knew that. You were looking to go into the military right after high school?
Right after high school.
Oh, okay. I don't think I knew that.
And my guidance counselor, who was British, said, what do you want to do? Dig ditches? and I can still remember that vividly, sitting there with my parents and her saying, what do you want to do? Dig ditches. Mm-hmm. And that's not what I thought the military was. And that wasn't what the military was when I joined it. Mm-hmm. So I remember them dissuading me from doing that. And, they had their parents and they're worried about a year later was 9/11.
Right.
If I had joined, that probably would have been heartbreaking for them at that point in time.
And you did get sent to...
I was in Iraq, in Al-Assad, for 9 months. So they dissuaded me there. But then going through college, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that was still something that was in the back of my mind. And I knew, one of the things is I don't ever want to regret something in life that I didn't try it, or I didn't, if I don't accomplish something in life, it's going to be because I'm focused on something else, not because I said, oh, I can't do that. Mm. In the military, you can get dissuaded a lot because there are a lot of, you can't do this and you can't do that. There's a lot of rules and regulations. But I did enjoy it, and I got to accomplish a lot of things and meet a lot of people and do a lot of things. But then once I was out of the military, I had such a supportive family that I really have been able to do and accomplish the things I want to do. I mean, in life, I come home from work, I eat dinner, and I leave the house for an hour and a half, 2 hours to go to the gym and work out. And you would think, well, you're leaving your family to go work out, but they understand that that's where I need to go to relax, to kind of rebuild myself personally, to have that kind of balance. So really the dissuading was younger
times.
Yeah.
I did also want to ask, how much attention do you give to what other people are saying, the thoughts of other people? And again, that's a broad question, but mm-hmm. I'd like for you to maybe respond to that.
So that comes back to my younger business life. When somebody would say something, I would dwell on it. Now, if someone's saying something positive, I'm going to embrace it. I'm always open to good ideas and different ways to do things. If something's negative, I'll hear it, it'll resonate, but I won't dwell on it. I won't try to go down that path. It's always better on negative things to just sit on it. Usually it's going to fix itself. If it doesn't fix itself, you need to have that crucial conversation with that person.
Okay.
Make sure that you're all on the same page, and a lot of times you're talking about the same thing just differently. So,
and as we think about people, from your perspective, what are some things or something that prevents people from going out and doing what they want to do, going out and starting something?
If I look back now, it's like, wow, all those things that I was able to do in the last 10 years, it was daunting. That was a lot of time and effort. It's that fear, I think, that prevents people from doing it. But if you break things up into little blocks and say, okay, I did this, I accomplished that, then I did this and I accomplished that, it isn't such a huge daunting task. And I think some people, when they set some of their goals, they're setting these huge, hairy, audacious goals. When they're doing that, it's good to have that goal, but then you need to break it down to smaller things. Otherwise, it's just going to be, I can never accomplish that. I can't do that. Mm-hmm. Doctors, they go to school for how many years to become a doctor? And it's like, that's a lot of studying. I could never do that. But we have lots of doctors. You have to put the time and the effort and really have that wherewithal to know that to get somewhere, you're going to have to put effort in.
Right. And so I'd like to sort of jump around to some of the growth things and stuff that you're maybe doing for you. Are you intentionally practicing something or studying something or doing some sort of action, maybe going to a seminar or some sort of program to continue to become more effective and successful?
So some of the things, I'm a member of a CFMA, which is Construction Financial Management Association. So it's related to the construction industry, but it's the finance and accounting side of it. I'm in a peer group with that. We meet monthly, and then once a year we do get together. We have an agenda we go over, and it's just hearing what other people are doing, what's working for them. And, you know, in business, you have competition. A lot of people don't want to share the way they're doing things. But with this peer group, you have like-minded people that we all want to be successful. And the people in the peer group are from California, from Washington State, from Chicago. So we're not directly competing with each other. We all want to get better. We all want to learn from certain things.
Right.
So that's been a big help. And then some of the mentors that I've had within the company, they reach out to their network and they'll, set up meetings that, oh, well, this person over at this company did this, go have a meeting with that CFO or go have a meeting with that controller, and just getting out and having those conversations with other people in the industry. Or, you're a reflection of the people around you. So
Sure.
Surround yourself with other people who are smarter than you, and hopefully that elevates you.
Yeah, that's respect upon that point. Is there currently an area that you're maybe trying to grow in now, or like a specific area?
With the expansion of the business and moving into other states, so in my CFO role, I'm also in charge of our support services, so purchasing, IT, HR, safety. And with that, I feel I don't have the capacity to do all of it now. So right now I'm in that process where there's things that I used to do that I have to let go and let others do, and mentor and train them to do those, so I can take a step up and be more of that, either have that entrepreneurial mindset or that entrepreneurial mindset within the company where I can help push the vision. Because I can no longer do the day-to-day. I mean, like I said, we started at $12 million a year, and this year we'll do $105 million. It's a different company than I started at. Still a great company.
Right.
Still the same people and same goals and visions. It's just, that's a whole different animal.
Do you intentionally and maybe consistently try to put aside time just to think?
So one of the things that I have done is I stay late at work, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing for my family life. But when people start leaving the office around 5 or 6 o'clock, and I'm there till 7, 8, or 9 some nights, depending on what's going on, really when it's that quiet and I'm the only one there, I'm not getting emails, I'm not getting phone calls. That time lets me focus and problem solve sometimes. When I'm trying to do something in the grind of the day, in the whirlwind, sometimes I can't get a clear picture of, and then something that I was maybe thinking about or dwelling on for half an hour, within 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, I could do it this way. Also, I enjoy working out. And when I go to the gym, all my stress is gone. I can go, I have a clear thought process, and I can think of nothing, or I can concentrate on what I want to think about. And it's just, it's kind of just a release.
So what kind of importance do you place on thinking, having that time to think and ponder?
If I didn't have that time, I think if any person would probably go crazy. There's always so much going on in business, in personal life. It's hard to release and let go. If I didn't have that time, I probably wouldn't sleep well. I'd be waking up in cold sweats. I'd be thinking about, what am I doing tomorrow? I don't want to go to work. But having that time, I'm able to sleep with a clear mind. I'm able to come home, not wound up from the day. So there's a lot of benefits of just having that time to, it's you could probably relate it to meditation.
Yeah. And so you sort of spoke about this with the peer group, but is there any other person, or do you find that you're able to maybe find someone where you intentionally sort of just have sort of a discussion time, not necessarily a mentor, could be a peer, but are you able to do that? Does your lifestyle allow for that, or you can have someone just to bounce ideas off of and thoughts?
There's a couple people within the company, some that I work directly with and some that I don't, where I can bounce ideas off. So if I have an operational problem, one of my first mentors at Wayfield was Russell, and I could go down there and he'll make 5-10 minutes for me to bounce the idea off of him and get feedback from him. And then our CEO, I mean, he started the company with 3 others when he was 29. And actually he was 27, and which is pretty young. And so he's been learning along the way, but he's also been there, done that, made those mistakes, learned from them. So I can bounce a lot of those ideas off of him, and he's thinking big picture vision stuff. So if I'm in the day to day, he'd be like, well, think about it like this, or this is where we're going. And I can kind of redirect my actions. So there's a couple people within the company, and then outside with that peer group, I can pick up the phone, call them, email questions I have. Hey, what have you done with this in the past? And get that feedback.
That's awesome.
So,
yeah. What is one question you would like to ask someone who's alive now that you feel if you could ask them this question, it would help you become more effective or more successful? And who?
There's a lot of smart people out there. I tried to think about, who that would be. There's a lot of, there's your Jeff Bezos, there's your Bill Gates, there's your Warren Buffetts. I mean, I guess really what differentiated them from other people. I mean, they're 3 big names, but, there's billions of people on the planet. Like, what did they do, or what was their mindset, or what was their thought process really that differentiated them and their companies and how they did things that made them so successful, which has allowed them to give back to the community as well.
Right. And so what about someone you would like to ask the same question to, but who's not alive?
Not alive. I don't really have a sexy answer for that one. But, when I was in college, my stepdad passed away from cancer. He loved Japan. He loved the culture. He never got to go there. So he doesn't know that I've married a Japanese woman. He doesn't know that I've lived there or done anything. I'd probably ask him, is he kind of proud to see where I'm at?
That's awesome. Yeah. You've already been speaking to this, but does your current life style, and does it allow for that balance of mental and physical, familial?
I do have that balance. I think I probably could add maybe 15% more to the balance. I make the personal choice sometimes not to have the balance. As we talked about previously, I have a really good support team behind me. But if my kids have a field day or I need to go somewhere, I'm able to leave work and do that. I have good team members that can back me up. And if my wife's Japanese, if I need to go to Japan for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I can do that and know that nothing's going to implode before I get back. But, there's times where, I want to come home and have dinner and I can't, because I know that if I don't stay and accomplish some of these things, that it's going to be there the next day and then the next day. And so sometimes I do have to put that time and effort in. So I'll miss a family dinner and things like that. And I'll try to make up for it. And, we'll do a family activity some other time. But,
right.
But I would say 85% of the time it's pretty good work-life balance, well-rounded. I work out with my son, go for walks with the kids, go to the park.
What is a serious challenge that you faced?
A serious challenge to me currently with business is just my capacity. I'm one person. company's grown. So how do you delegate down and let go of some of those tasks that, I was challenged to own and to do for so many years, and that's not my role or responsibility anymore.
What are you doing? How are you figuring out how to do that?
So I've come to the realization that I need to hire a few key positions within the company. Sometimes just because it's not in the budget doesn't mean that it doesn't need to happen. So I've come to that realization where there are some key positions where there's not enough resources within the company. I can't groom them fast enough, so I have to look outside the company with someone with experience to bring in to help to delegate those tasks.
Tell us, what's your view of money?
A view of money. I mean, like anyone, I like money, but that's not my driving factor. I never thought I'd be at where I'm in life now. When I was probably 17, I remember being like, if I can make 80 grand is like, that's a really good number. Like I could buy a house, I could raise a family, and that's nothing to shun. That's a really good number.
Right.
And I've surpassed that, and I never thought I would. And I didn't surpass it because I said, I want this, and I want to buy this, and I want a big house, I want Ferraris or things like that, which I don't have. But it was a byproduct of the effort I put in, and people seeing the effort that I put in.
That's awesome. For people that are wanting to grow, they want to develop, they want to move to another level, is there a book, a movie, a documentary, something that you might recommend that they see, read, or something like that?
So we did this workshop about a year ago at work. It was called Crucial Conversations. There's a book out there. Read the book, don't do the audio tape, because the book actually has some exercises in it that are good to do. So you communicate all day. That's what life is. You communicate, you try to get things done. But what we realized is that everyone's not communicating on the same page. Mm-hmm. People shut themselves off. If they have a hard conversation, they're shutting themselves off and not actually listening. When someone's trying to give feedback, and then someone's trying to be a dictator and say, no, this is the way it's supposed to be done. So I would say the book Crucial Conversations will let you realize how to have a conversation with somebody, lead from the heart, be on the same page. If the conversation is not going well, how to step away from it and get back to it, and then come to a mutual understanding of what you're trying to accomplish and get there.
Okay.
Since we implemented that and did that about a year ago, I would say that as we grown, as you grow in business, you're not as close with everyone all the time, and you're always not going to agree on the direction. And it's helped kind of break down some of those barriers as we've grown.
Okay. Now, as we just end up here, as we're coming to an end, what's your favorite book or movie?
Favorite books, I would say I've read Lord of the Rings probably 7 or 8 times in my life. I kind of just like escaping that kind of fantasy world of it. But movie, I really enjoy Black Hawk Down. Okay. I guess that movie, the action, the camaraderie, the pain, everything in that movie, it kind of it shows a different side of what the world can be, and how people still were trying to take care of each other, mm-hmm. and accomplish this goal. And at the end of the movie, when they're running out of the town just to save themselves, and it was just like, wow, that's not where I want to be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I don't really know how to explain it, but it's just really one of those hard things where you're like, wow, the fact that they could go there and do that, mm-hmm. and they're being unselfish, and they're able to accomplish this goal, and then they have to go back in even at the end to go save the officer. It's humbling.
Mm-hmm. What are some things you enjoy doing? We know you like the going to the gym, but what else?
Recently, I've been able to travel a little bit more with the wife.
That's right. Yeah, I've been doing a little bit more traveling.
We're doing a little bit of traveling with the wife, which has been good. We were together for 7 years before we realized, maybe 8 years before we realized that we've only spent one night together without family or kids or anything. And so recently we've been getting away a little bit, just to get some of that personal time, Yeah, we still really do love each other and spend time with each other. It's, it's not just the day to day. I go to work, I come home, you're home, you go to work, it is, we're together because we really love each other and enjoy spending time together. So
it's awesome.
I've enjoyed traveling with her lately, playing games with the kids, go play soccer at the park, things like that. I'm not a board game guy, so I won't play board games, but sports games, we'll do that. Let me just clarify.
Not a board game guy.
I'm not a board game guy.
Respect.
I like to work on cars. My son just recently got his license in a car.
That's right.
I have a car I like to work on. Eventually, I'd like to have that car where it doesn't drive on the street, it only drives at the track. Mm-hmm. So that's a personal fun goal, I guess, that I've set. So I guess between sports, cars, family, those are the things I like to do outside of work.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you. That's everything.
So friends, I hope you enjoyed this video with Mikey. He's just an awesome person. I'm thankful that I'm able to meet these people, because it's definitely causing me to think about things, definitely encouraging me to know that I can move ahead and I don't have to bow down. I could find ways to get through things. I could have bigger visions. I could do more. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I want you to be made aware of new videos as they come out. And please continue to send me your ideas, your feedback, your comments, your requests. I will definitely get back to you. Finally, I want to encourage you to be seeking out your kingdom style. And if you know it, great. If you don't, then go ahead and ask yourself, what's your kingdom style? And are you living in that vision right now?